Never did I foresee that a night so seemingly ordinary could alter the course of everything. It was a Friday, unremarkable in its familiarity. WHASN, I acquiesced to the invitation from Ethan, my partner's son, to join him for a movie. It was not an unusual occurrence. We had spent numerous afternoons immersed in cinema together since his father and I began our relationship. Yet, that night, an unmistakable shift lingered in the air. It might have been the selection of a film that failed to capture either of our interests, or perhaps it was the first moment I truly recognized his presence in a manner that demanded my attention. Ethan, at the age of 24, embodied the spirit of an athlete, radiating a contagious energy and wearing a smile that could light up any room. At 46, I had always embraced my sense of self and relished engaging conversations, yet I found myself taken aback by the intensity of his attention. In the final row of the cinema, we found ourselves enveloped in a darkness that felt almost tangible, the space between us and the rest of the audience creating a cocoon of intimacy. At first, all was as it should be, gentle doves fluttering about, soft laughter echoing in response to his whispered remarks. Yet, as the film unfolded, I became aware of how frequently his arm brushed against mine, more than seemed required. What I once dismissed as mere fantasy transformed into undeniable reality the moment his hand drew near to mine. I remained motionless, my heart racing with intensity. I had the option to leave, the chance to speak up, yet I chose silence. Instead, my breath quickened and an unforeseen warmth coursed through my body. His hand lingered nearby, a gentle touch that rendered me breathless. The shadows of the theater enveloped us, transforming the air into a charged atmosphere that crackled with unspoken words. As I shut my eyes, a whirlwind of emotions enveloped me. It was exhilarating, I was aware of that, yet the warmth of his presence and the tantalizing possibilities that lay ahead rendered me unable to shatter the enchantment of the moment. My body reacted instinctively, outpacing the thoughts that struggled to catch up. I restrained myself from revealing my anxiety as I sensed his presence nearby. The film continued to play, yet the sounds faded into silence for me. I summoned the courage to open my eyes, and there he was, gazing at me with an intriguing blend of curiosity and satisfaction. In that dimly lit corner, an unnoticed drama unfolded, while the rest of the room remained blissfully unaware. Yet for us, the world had faded into oblivion. As the final scene faded to black, we remained in quiet contemplation, allowing the credits to unfold before us. Silence enveloped us during the journey home, yet the weight of unspoken words hung heavily in the air, creating an almost unbearable tension. I sensed a shift in the air, and the pressing question lingered: what would unfold from that pivotal moment onward? A week later, Ethan reached out to me with an invitation to a new movie. This time, the film he had selected was a poignant drama, rich with intricate characters and gripping scenarios. My heart raced at the mere sight of the title. An unspoken understanding lingered between us, a shared recognition of its significance. Nevertheless, I embraced it without much contemplation. Once more, we find ourselves in the cinema, opting for the comfort of the last row. The room lay nearly vacant, amplifying the tension that hung palpably between us. From the very first instant, I sensed his eyes upon me. The film commenced, and the screen came alive with poignant scenes brimming with emotion. Each whisper, each subtle gesture captured on the screen resonated with the emotions we shared. Ethan quickly made his way over. His hand reached for mine first, fingers weaving together before gliding along my arm, igniting a trail of fire in his wake. As his hand found its way to my waist, I felt myself drawn to him, unable to resist the pull. His breath whispered against my ear, sending a shiver down my spine. "I can't stop thinking about you," he whispered, his voice rough and laden with an emotion I couldn't quite grasp. I remained silent, offering no verbal reply. My deeds conveyed my essence. I shifted ever so slightly, seeking the warmth of his lips. The initial kiss was gentle and tentative, yet it quickly transformed into something more fervent. His hand brushed against my back, drawing nearer still. As the film depicted its characters grappling with their emotions, we crafted our own interpretation in the shadows. His hands glided with precision, evoking an emotion that threatened to overflow within me. We flowed to the cadence of the film, our forms harmonized in a wordless ballet. The sensation of being watched, despite the apparent indifference of those around us, only heightened our consciousness of the moment. As the lights illuminated the rooms at the film's conclusion, our breaths caught in our throats and a subtle tremor lingered in our bodies. Our eyes met, a silent acknowledgement passing between us that this was more than merely a cinematic outing. The days that followed unfolded in a tapestry woven with threads of anxiety and anticipation. Each glance exchanged between Ethan and me within the confines of our home was laden with a tension that only we could comprehend. We could not overlook the events that had transpired, so when he suggested another date, I readily accepted without a moment's hesitation. This time, I was acutely aware that there would be no turning back. We approached the cinema, blending in like any other pair of ordinary souls. Yet, the moment we stepped into the room's shadows, the illusion shattered. The film held no significance. The true spectacle unfolded in the space we shared. We occupied the same final row, hearts racing at 1,000 beats per minute, acutely aware that we were on the brink of crossing the ultimate boundary. From the instant Ethan drew near, his lips found mine with a fervor that rendered me breathless. His tongue wandered with curiosity, while his hands caressed my body. There existed no space for uncertainty or remorse. In that fleeting instant, all that mattered was the yearning for connection. His hands glided over my back. I sensed the quickening of his breath, the way his fingers glided over my skin, mapping unseen territories. A soft sigh escaped my lips as his mouth traced the curve of my neck, bestowing upon me kisses that blended both tenderness and fervor. I nestled beside him, the warmth of his body pressing against me. We swayed to the cadence of the film's score, our forms intertwining in a wordless ballet. Every gesture he made drew me deeper into a world where time and place seemed to dissolve. The intensity deepened with every meeting, as though our souls were intertwining in a game from which we had no desire to break free. As the final credits rolled and the lights flickered back to life, we exchanged a wordless glance, the air thick with unspoken thoughts. Words were unnecessary for us to grasp the weight of our actions and their significance. We realized we had ventured into a realms that captivated our interest. As we departed the cinema, our fingers intertwined, we sensed that the shadows of the room had borne witness to something far deeper than just a mere exit. It marked the dawn of a profound journey, one that was intricately layered and undeniably complex. Neither of us was prepared to bring it to a halt. Since that last trip to the cinema, an irrevocable shift had occurred between us. The allure lay not only in the charged glances exchanged, but also in the seemingly nonchalant caresses that spoke volumes. It was the undeniable truth that we had experienced something significant together. Time flowed with an intriguing blend of the ordinary and the anticipated. Within the confines of our home, we upheld a facade, trading smiles that conveyed far deeper meanings than any outsider could ever imagine. Whenever our paths crossed in the hallway, I sensed his eyes upon me. One evening, as I prepared coffee in the kitchen, I sensed his presence even before uttering a single word. He approached me with the serene assurance of a person fully aware of his desires. "Did you retire early today?" Elena inquired softly. My hand trembled ever so slightly around the cup. The inquiry was far from innocent. I had a feeling about it. As I gazed at him, a sense of bewilderment washed over me, drawn into the depths of those dark eyes that appeared to issue a silent challenge. "It varies," I responded, feigning a lack of concern. "Perhaps we could enjoy another film in the comfort of our home." The silence that enveloped us stretched on, laden with significance. My breathing became slower, more conscious. The concept was captivating, yet the mere thought of it sent a chill down my spine. I took my seat in silence. That night, as the world slumbered in the comfort of their homes, I once more found myself in his presence. Though there were no colossal screens or plush cinema seats, the ambience that enveloped us mirrored that of a grand cinematic experience. Thick, all-consuming, unavoidable. He switched on the television, allowing the film to unfold, yet neither of them focused on the images flickering before them. His proximity was a quiet tempest, poised to erupt at any instant. At last, when he found his voice, it emerged as nothing more than a whisper. "Are you aware that this transcends mere play?" I hesitated before responding. From the very first moment, I was aware, yet voicing it aloud felt like an entirely different challenge. "I am aware that I murmured." The truth lingered in the air, delicate and perilous, much like the yearning that surrounded us. In that fleeting moment, clarity washed over me, revealing the irrevocable truth. There was no turning back. The film progressed on the screen, yet our thoughts wandered far beyond its confines. The dim glow of the television illuminated his features, highlighting the fervor in his eyes. Words were unnecessary. The stillness that lingered between us conveyed everything that needed to be said. His hand brushed against mine, a gentle touch imbued with purpose. Instantly, my skin began to itch. "Please stay with me." I was unable to. "It is not advisable," I murmured, yet my tone fell short of conviction. He inclined his head just slightly, his gaze unwavering from mine. "Then instruct me to cease." I did not. The atmosphere thickened around us, as though the very fabric of existence sought to draw us nearer. A heartbeat lingered, until at last the chasm that divided us vanished. His hand descended gradually over my arm, igniting a trail of warmth in its wake. My breath grew labored. The rush was nothing like what one experiences in the films. There existed no trepidation of being found out. Merely the fervor of the impending event loomed ahead. "It transcends mere desire, doesn't it?" Elena inquired, her voice a blend of assurance and fragility. I shook my head, rendered speechless. Indeed, it was not. His hand lifted to my face, fingers gliding along the contour of my jaw with a surprising gentleness. His breath brushed against my lips, yet it remained just shy of crossing that final threshold. A signal was what I awaited. My heart pounded fiercely within my chest, ensnared in a struggle between doubt and the undeniable certainty that everything would shift with just one more step. Yet, we had already traversed too many boundaries. With my eyes shut, I surrendered to the moment. As our lips finally connected, time seemed to stand still, allowing for a leisurely exploration that felt almost sacred. His hand glided to my waist. The film played on, a mere backdrop to our entrapment in a game from which we could no longer escape. The kiss unfolded with a deliberate grace, neither hurried nor awkward. It unfolded with a measured pace, as though we were navigating a landscape we had both deemed off-limits, yet could not resist. My fingers grasped the fabric of his shirt, seeking something to anchor me as the world around us faded into a haze. As we stood merely millimeters apart, our breaths mingled softly in the shadows of the room. My chest heaved with quickened breaths, while his piercing gaze ignited a fire within me that sent shivers down my spine. "Tell him to stop me," he repeated, his voice resonating with a deeper, more profound timbre. Yet the words remained unspoken, for to halt him would be to deny the undeniable bond that lingered between us. In my silence, the void of response became the crucible in which all decisions were forged. His fingers glided along my back, a touch both delicate and charged with electricity. There existed a tranquil stillness, devoid of haste, a quiet interplay where each caress posed a question, and every breath conveyed a response. The credits rolled across the screen, yet we remained ensnared in the narrative of our own lives. Beyond the confines of that room, the world continued its relentless rotation, oblivious to the unfolding events shrouded in shadow. Silence enveloped us as we departed, our gazes locking in a shared understanding that we had stepped beyond a point of no return. I rose first, sensing his eyes tracing my form as I made my way to the door. I paused briefly before vanishing into the depths of the corridor. "Sleep well, Ethan," I murmured softly, my back still turned, yet we both understood that this was far from over.